Welcome, everybody, to the American Space Museum. I'm Marquette. We're so glad you're with us to stay curious. And I'm chuckling because it's like a week before Christmas and everybody's house is stirring and everyone's stirring everywhere. So just everybody grab some patience, is what I've done today as we get through this wonderful holiday season. Glad that you're with us today to talk a little bit about some space activities going on here on our green screen. There's a launch of an Axiom spacecraft that's took off with a private crew that's going to do it again June 9th there with on a Falcon 9 rocket. We'll talk about that launch in the queue. There's all kinds of there's three or four important launches that they'd like to get in. There's going to be two probably before the end of the year here at the Kennedy Space Center, Space Coast. But we want to launch two important missions to the moon, unmanned, and then the Axiom 3 cruise going up with an astronaut that'll be taking his sixth trip to space, Michael Lopez Allegra, a seasoned NASA astronaut. So I want to say hello to Marty Winkle there. Marty, great to see you today. We had a nice staff meeting and got some Christmas gift giving, and I'm modeling a shirt that our executive director, Karan Conklin, bought for me. You bought me a nice shirt I can't wait to wear. And just say hello in our UCAC family microphone there, Marty. How you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Mark, and hope you're the same.
Yes. Who'd you see out the Space Center today?
You saw Jose Hernandez.
Oh, wow. A Million
STS.
Miles Away, Jose, that wonderful movie. And you said we talked a little bit about beforehand. Big crowd out there. Those are the people that have been at the astronaut encounter watching today. Was the auditorium full?
I'd say it's at least 90% full. It was packed.
Wow. Well, he's got writer's cramp autographing all that stuff he did. What a wonderful astronaut. We're talking about Jose Hernandez. There was a movie that is on Amazon Prime called A Million Miles Away that's about his life perseverance to be an astronaut, rejected 12 times. And he's quite an inspiration, migrant worker to astronaut, Jose Hernandez. And we are, and maybe we're in the loop, aren't we, Marty, to have a couple things going. You want to share what you talked to Jose about, please?
Yeah, it's early right now, but the plan is to have Jose on his next visit to KSC to come by the museum, and we're going to do a wine tasting event. And he has his own wine, or grape orchard, I should say. Then we're going to do a book signing and probably a DVD signing also of the million miles away, 1,000 miles away.
Yeah, a million miles
Million
away.
miles away.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Marty. This is our team here at the Space Museum. We're all out there trying to wrangle our own astronauts. Nick Thomas is way behind this, of course, helping us. That would be awesome to have his Terra Luna wines here in the building and a little fundraiser for us there. Thank you, Jose, for thinking of our museum. It is the holiday season, and now the man module and lunar module in there because you couldn't break them out with. Pull this off the World Wide Web, Marty. Look at this. Could you imagine seeing the sky filled with this iridescence colors of clouds called polar stratospheric clouds? Usually they're rare and only happen occasionally, but in this world of climate change and things being outside the box, like floods up in New England instead of storms right now going on, snowstorms. For the third day in a row, Arctic sky watchers up in Norway are reporting a widespread outbreak of polar stratospheric clouds. These colors are spectacular, said Ramon Spaliet, who photographed the display over Gran, Norway, where this photo was taken. The clouds were visible all day, but the colors really exploded just before sunset. He took this photo on his cell phone and posted others like it on my favorite website, spaceweather.com. Widely considered to be the most beautiful clouds on Earth, polar stratospheric clouds, PSCs, got to have an acronym for them, Marty. They're rare. The Earth's stratosphere is very dry, and normally it has no clouds at all. But when they form, when the Antarctic temperature drops to a staggering low of 100 below zero. Then and only then can widely spaced water molecules begin to coalesce into tiny ice crystals. High altitude sunlight shining through the crystals creates intense iridescent colors that rival auroras. And typically, you'd only see them a handful of times, but this is the first of many sightings in December. They usually don't see them before January. This is caused by the atmosphere being too cold, not too hot. But nonetheless, a gorgeous, gorgeous sight, and the people up in the Arctic Circle and Norway, Iceland, all those areas are going to be enjoying this all winter long. And by the way, the first day of winter is tomorrow, the equinox of the of winter. I mean the solstice. Sorry, the I mean no, it is the equinox. Equal day, equal night is the autumnal equinox. Now we're just going to the winter solstice. So days will start getting longer after December 21st, and we're going to explain all that like I sputtered out here tomorrow on our program, as we'll be talking about what's up in the sky during Christmas week from your backyard. And then Friday, we'll talk about the Star of Bethlehem. What was this wonder, the most famous star of all? Well, we're going to talk about some rocket launches going on. This is a picture I took the other night at 11 o'clock of a noisy Falcon 9 rocket waking up the neighborhood. Actually got a streak of a car during this 30-second exposure. But we're all looking forward to the government's spy plane, the mini shuttle, to launch on the Falcon Heavy. They have set a date, Marty, for Thursday, December 28th, between 7 and 11 p.m. So 7 p.m., sunset's going to be close to 6. That's going to catch, that's still, it might get high enough to catch some twilight and get us some spectacular colors off those exhaust plumes. It's real close to the end of twilight, and as it gets higher in the sky, it's going to hit more. So 7 o'clock to 11, 3-hour window for Falcon Heavy launch. This is Carlton Bailey, his shot of a Falcon Heavy coming off the pad. So they've scheduled it for Thursday, December 28th. Here is that spy plane. They used to keep it pretty top secret. We know that they have 2 of them. They've both flown 3 times. This will be the 4th flight for one of them. They stayed up in increments of 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. And the last one was up there for over 2 years and landed November 2022. So we haven't had one up there for over a year. What do these do? These planes are involved. Well, because the government's letting us know more about them, they say that they're doing some experiments for seeds, for example, taking seeds up to space for 2 years and then making sure that the radiation doesn't irradiate them or doesn't stop them from growing. Maybe they have some in different containers to see how long they could keep seeds alive. Food is going to be so important. I think it's the most underrated aspect of our exploration of our solar system with humans is where we're going to get the food, and we got to grow the food. So a couple other experiments going on are some laser technology, communication laser systems, stuff like that. And there's the space plane in orbit up there. Wait a minute, Marty. That doesn't look like the same space plane, does it? That's because it's not. All right. That is China's mini space plane, folks, that they launched last Thursday, knowing we're going to launch our X-37B spy mini shuttle. They launched theirs that they've done 2 flights on. We don't know if it's the same spacecraft that flew all 2 flights, but yep, they have about a 20-foot space plane just like we do here. See the Chinese markings on it. And it has not only been up since Thursday, but people who follow this with their own satellite tracking systems and so forth say that this mini shuttle of China emitted 6 objects are in orbit around them. And one of them is emitting periodic signals. The other two on a steady basis, and the other five, several of them they can't see anything coming from them, but they know they're there. They can't be much bigger than a basketball, so that just gives you an idea how we can track the spies versus spy in space with private people. So I'm going to look into this a little bit, Marty. I actually didn't know that China had a space plane that has flown twice. So stay curious. We're always learning here. This is a rough concept of what they must have. I'd say they must have a bigger uh, payload bay than that little one they're showing there with a solar panel out of it. This is what ours looks like to an artist's rendition. It's been photographed from space by people through telescopes imaging it, and shows pretty much this configuration. The back end of it, by the way, comes off at landing. It actually has a service module on the back that can have more things on it. So to be launched a week from today, Thursday, no, a week from tomorrow, Thursday, December 28th, our next mini space plane, 7 to 11 p.m. And that's what China's has looked like. They're in different orbits. They say that they wouldn't be able to rendezvous, like if one wanted to check out the other, or fear not disable the other one. But we know Russia has practiced those capabilities of disabling other satellites in orbit. Well, there is the new kid on the block. That's the United Launch Alliance's new Vulcan rocket that they want it to be its workhorse. It's got the Blue Origin BE4 engines on the bottom, just two of them. What rocket does that remind you of, Marty? It reminds me of one from the space age. Yeah, certainly does remind you of the Titan rocket there. It is a heavy payload vehicle. I'm sure they can probably attach solid rocket boosters on the side. We'll see. Astrobiotics fairing there is for their Peregrine lander, shown here. The Peregrine lander, named after the fastest hawk on Earth, the fastest flight bird, I guess, on Earth is the Peregrine. It's going to be launched on the United Launch Alliance Vulcan rocket's maiden flight on Monday, January 8th is the date. This robotic mission is one of the first two U.S.-built spacecraft that are heading to the moon at the beginning of next year. There's a lot of rideshare science on this. You can see an obvious orange device there on the left. Maybe that's an electronic device to gauge things in the moon's lack of atmosphere. There'll be things that are going to analyze the soil. They're worried about communication systems on the moon. Not worried, they need to check out communication systems if we're going to start landing unmanned vehicles that are going to be support vehicles for the manned landers. They have to have precise locations charted. You have to be able to communicate with them back and forth. So all this is now in the queue for us to learn how to live on the moon on a steady basis. Then on June 9th, this is the lander, not June 9th. This is Intuitive Machines lander on the moon that they have to launch between January 12th and 16th, okay? And our friend Chris Stott's Lone Star Company has a lander, has on board this lander a hard drive that they're going to place on the moon and access it from the Earth sometime later. I believe they're planning on doing something in June or July. Chris Stott did a great program about this on our Stay Curious on November 18th, in fact, when his wife, astronaut Nicole Stott, was in the building to do a book signing for us. And we love them both. The Stotts are really wonderful people that are promoting space in so many ways. Astronaut Nicole Stott has her Art and Healing Foundation in St. Petersburg, and Chris, with his company Lone Star, is trying to push the envelope on the practicality of putting information that's important on Earth somewhere else in case, God forbid, a nuclear war, but more likely is a solar flare could hit the Earth during a strong magnetic storm and really compromise a lot of data in your own hard drive in your computer room. So we'll keep track of this June 12th to 16th Falcon 9 launch with Intuitive Machines. And we'll learn more about that as next year, as we'll be focusing on this completely. I got some calls into Chris about some of the questions I have now that I understand what they're trying to do. So, and here's just an idea, an artist's conception of we're going to land on the moon. We need to put little probes on the moon that are radar beacons to signal so that we can go to the exact spot without a doubt and follow a beacon there. And that's what this is showing here. Well, here are the next 3 men that are going to go to space, and only one of them can claim to be an American man. That is Michael Lopez Allegra in the white shirt there in the middle right. Of course, he has a dual citizenship as a Spaniard. So this is an all-international crew that Axiom is going to launch for the 3rd time on a Falcon 9 rocket with the SpaceX Crew Dragon that they're inside of here, a Crew Dragon. That's the hatch up above them. January 9th, Tuesday, Axiom 3 with Michael Lopez Allegra will be making his 2nd trip with Axiom and 6th trip to space. Already, he's got 275 days in space, and 3 rookies will be with him in this all-international flight, as Lopez Allegra was born in Spain. To the left there, you have from Sweden, Marcus Wand, probably Vand, W-A-N-D-T, Marcus Vand. And next to him from Italy is Walter Villadai. And you have L.A. in the middle, and then Alper Jezeravaci. I'm going to stick to that, Jezeravaci. He's a Turkish man on the left there. All have been in their air forces, were selected as part of the Axiom astronauts that are going to attached to the International Space Station starting this year with the first segment, eventually 4 segments to be habitable. Then they're going to break off from those 4 segments after they put a power plant solar panel system on it. And then they're going to charge Marty to go up there for his retirement vacation finally up there. So this is the true dream of Axiom, is commercialize space and make it accessible for those wealthy people that just want to get off the earth and get away from it all. I guess Tahiti's not enough for people these days. Well, there's the Axiom logo on the Crew Dragon 2, Axiom 2 Crew Dragon that Peggy Whitson, America's most experienced female astronaut, commanded, and very reusable spacecraft. Not sure how many times the one they're going to ride's been up there, but they've got 2 Crew Dragons that have been up there at least twice. And there's a beautiful launch that I used as our background here of a Axiom launch off pad 40, or that'd be 39A, because of the crew access arm. They have completed a crew access arm on pad 40. Although I've not seen it, Marty, I'll give you a good reason to drive out there and run around and take some pictures of that. This is critical because you see that on the far right, this structure here on the far right, you know what that is? That's the Starship Tower for the Starship to be launched from there. And NASA isn't too confident in that Starship yet, so they're going to let SpaceX launch it off the Texas coast until they get it perfected. Then they'll bring it and launch it right there. And they want to make sure that it doesn't wipe out the access to space crew pad there for the ISS for the contract that they have with SpaceX. So they made them build a crew walkout on pad 40. And I understand it's out there, and we'll be looking at that. Thank you all for watching today. Dave Stange enjoying his retirement. Doug Forrest. Appreciate Doug in Los Angeles area. Bill Whiting. Bill is a great space lover, good volunteer at our museum. He splits his time up in his homeland of Michigan. And Bill, big shout out to you. He is a boxer rescue person. He rescues the boxer dogs all over the nearby. And I saw him near my neck of the woods of Findlay, Ohio, in Sandusky. I saw you were over there where Cedar Point is, a great amusement park. Gary Gerald, good to see you watching today. Tom Celentano's up there in Connecticut. Gary's in Georgia, and Tom Usiak is in Pennsylvania.
Cliff Watson.
Oh, Cliff Watson. Happy breakfast to you down there in Pomona, Australia, my friend, as you're about to hit strides with summertime tomorrow in our great southern hemisphere. So good to see you chiming in there, Cliff. Let's see, we want to end our program today thinking about the International Space Station astronauts. Of course, there's 3 Chinese astronauts on their Heavenly Palace space station, but we've got 7 up there on our space station. And we love reminding you that it has been continuously occupied for 23 years. That's right. If you know a person who is 22 years old or younger, they have never breathed a breath on the earth that somebody wasn't breathing a breath in outer space orbiting the earth. And I think that is so cool. 2 decades of humans being occupying outer space. So we got to think about Christmas on the International Space Station, and they do have some great celebrations of it. I'll pull a few of those pictures out tomorrow as we look around your backyard sky to what you're going to see on Christmas week. But the 70th Expedition Crew is now up there. This is their logo, and there we have them all together taking a break, talking to the people on Earth. Let's see, in the foreground there we've got that's probably let's see, it says Andrew Morgensen. He's a Swedish gentleman. By the way, no male Americans are on the space station right now until Lopez Alegre gets up there, and he was actually born in Spain. Just a little anomaly. Andreas Morgensen, he's a Swede. Jasmine Mobelli there, she's the commander of the Crew Dragon 7 team. Rookie, Marine also. Hoorah to you, Jasmine. You've got beside her is Laurel O'Hara. And Laurel O'Hara's been up there 96 days with the Soyuz crew that docked MS-24 96 days ago. The Crew Dragon ISS crew are entering their 98th day that Jasmine has that. They're 98 days in space. So, no, I'm sorry, I got it backwards. 116 days for Jasmine and her crew, 96 days for the Russian crew up there, separated by about 20 days. They all stay up there about 6 months. So at 116 days, they've been up there just shy of 4 months. The Crew 7, they'll be coming back sometime in March. Oh, the guys in the back? Yes. Who's in the back? Says Dave Stangy. Well, in the back, you've got Oleg, and you've got Konstantin, and you've got Nikolai, Russians up there. And beside Nikolai is Satoshi Furukawa on his long duration up there. He's been up there before. I didn't write down how many days he's staying up there. Oleg, who is in the middle there with the hair, the dark hair, he is 832 days in space and counting on his space missions. So we love thinking about them. We know they'll be looking for Santa's reindeer as they come flying by there, and hope that you all thinking about our humans orbiting the Earth as you're sharing your Christmas warmth and love with all the humans here on the Earth. So they got a couple care packages during the service missions up there, so they got some good things to enjoy their holidays with. So Marty, that's our show for today. We've had quite a hectic day here, and glad that we could at least throw a little bit together there for you there. What's at the bottom there? Figure what's that line above me there? Wonder what that.
Take the camera.
Oh, it's hitting the top of the camera there. There you go. Okay.
So
We're checking out technical difficulties as we speak here. So what a great time Marty and I've had, 3.5 years presenting you these programs 955 episodes here at the end of the week we'll have done. And it's all because of you wanting to watch us. So stay tuned. Tell your friends that we provide some of the most unique content on YouTube. We had a configuration management lady, Perry Baker Horner, do a great show yesterday. Go watch that. The title's boring, but boy, did she explain her job well. And believe you me, if the paperwork's not done, that shuttle ain't lifting off the earth. And she's one of the women that held the paper open on the configuration of our orbital fleet. So check out Perry Baker Horner on our show yesterday. All of our programs are on YouTube. Those that aren't are on our Facebook channel. So thank you all again for spending a little time with us at the American Space Museum today. Marty, we have anything to button up over there?
Let me just fix you. The only thing is I kind of messed up earlier when I was talking about Jose.
Uh-huh.
And I was talking, I mentioned, I said his grape farm, which should have been his wine vineyard.
His great what?
I mentioned his grape farm.
Yeah, his grape farm.
I couldn't think of his vineyard.
Well, that's a grape farm, and you're forgiven there. I'm having trouble pulling out even normal words some days. But yes, Jose Hernandez, if you're local, go out and see him. I'm going to go out there and see him tomorrow. And Marty and some of our friends out there are really solidifying our relationships with some of the astronauts out there. Thank you, Nick Thomas, for promoting that, and everybody out there. Mark Smith, also one of the astronaut wranglers. So fantastic. So hope that you can all get outside, get a few stars in your eyes. The moon's out there. We've had some bad weather down here, but I know you guys don't want to hear about it being in the 50s here, and we're cold, you all up there in Michigan. So we will give you more weather reports tomorrow, and we're happy that you're all watching us today. Until next time, I'm Mark Marquette saying I can't wait to see you in our museum to bridge the space between us.